Shalom and good day all. This is Tehillim29 back again for another Rainbow Press and Comics Fool's Gold comic review. And this time I will be reviewing Brian Michael Bendis' Justice League. Well, the next one after this one will be Checkmate issue 2, but that won't be until the next week. So let's get to the one that's at hand before us. So, as you know, with Fool's Gold, it runs on its own little rating system. And as you can see, it's $4.99 in US dollars, which converts to $8.95 Australian dollars. And how I rate the system is I give a rating for the cover and how much I think that's worth, the art, how much I think that's worth, and the story and how much I think that's worth. And a total, of course, goes towards the writer as well as the artist. So, jumping first things first, into the cover. Does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to anything that's sort of happening within inside the story? Well, it does in some part, but I think this is probably one of the worst covers for Justice League that has been put out. It's a nice cover, but it doesn't really work with the inside part of the story, because it seems to stray away from this part of the story, and the other part of the story seems to hold out a little bit more than what we actually see here. So for this cover, I gave it a 4 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth 90 cents. Yeah. So, time to move into the art for the internal art, to which I'll show the beginning, middle, and the end. I will not be covering the backstory in this, the Justice League Dark, even though it is the better story out of this actual story. If Ram V was on Justice League, I would love reviewing this. But no, they decided to throw him on Justice League Dark. Now, this is some of the art around the beginning. I must admit, I did enjoy the art in this. Some art around the middle. And finally, some art around the end. For this, I gave the art, and finally, the art towards the end. To which I gave the art a 7 out of 10, as there were some parts in it that really stood out, as well as parts that sort of didn't work out. But overall, with it being 7 out of 10, I believed it was worth $1.50. Now it's time to move on to the story. My goodness, just when I thought the first arc was bad, this one gets more terrible. So, moving on to the story, and the story side of things, and also the things that I like to rate in the story side of things. Did Brian Michael Bendis remember to bring in some comic references? No, he didn't. Points lost. Big time. And I mean big time. What about time? Well, about the closest thing that he brought up, and it felt bloody lazy as, was one reference that said, meanwhile, yeah, that's pretty trashy. You can't bank on Bendis at DC Comics. Alright, what about locations? Okay, location, we got really one place, even though there seemed to be like another place which he forgot to mention, and he should have used a comic reference, plus also re-bringing it back up, and that was where we were with Oliver Queen and Black Canary, Diana, and he forgot to mention the villa. He didn't point out the villa. And it wouldn't have hurt to include it in the location, right? If you used it in the last issue, you should be using it in this issue. Because not everyone's going to be able to get a hold of the last issue, even if it might be sold out at their store. Okay, moving into the cast of characters. This bit was alright, and it's about the only thing that I could probably give him a good rating for. And that was, we got the Justice League members, we got the appearance of Deathstroke, we got the appearance of Wonder Twins, that stupid beast from the Superman Mythology series, which Brian Michael Bendis did, by the name of Sinmar, at the red, which has a red sun over its planet. Of course, we had Superman and also Calyx. So the overall rating for the story and the way this story came out, it was an utter mess. To which I gave the story a 2 out of 10. It felt like it was going nowhere, just like Brian Michael Bendis' career. If you really want to pick up something good of Brian Michael Bendis', I advise you, pick up his Powers run. Check out his Jinx World. It is 10 times better than this. Until then, let's keep colourful and have yourself an awesome day.